I don't know if I saw that. I'm trying to think of what I saw.
Pick your
There's
hero.
a
Or villain.
there's
I'm
a-
not
Oh,
judging.
Tony was nervous, remember? Remember that?
Tony's better be fucking nervous.
Dude, I kept just going up to him and going, Feliz Navidad, just to fucking get his vibes.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
This is the one I saw. Jamie, I'll send this to you. It's
Oh.
got music to it.
This was like when I got that hair surgery. You know what I'm talking about?
They play music in the background.
No, but it looks like that pattern.
Let me see that again. Yeah, it looks a lot like that, like a transplant. Yeah, micrographs.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, man.
So what I
30
sent you,
seconds
Jamie,
before
it just
your
shows
turn.
like the
Get
entire
ready.
country. Does show you? Look at that.
Sorry I'm late. Had to.
That's
Oh, that's
crazy.
interesting.
That's crazy. There's no blue states, just blue cities.
Well, then why do you think why do you think the cities and states are so much different then?
Well, cities are always going to be blue. It's normal. There's a lot of factors. One of them is
3, 2,
you have massive populations of people, right?
need to do
And
is capture
you,
the mission area,
when you have
okay?
massive populations of people, a lot of times it's based around universities. Like Los Angeles is slightly different because Los Angeles has universities, but really it's like more around Hollywood, which is equally delusional. But most big cities are flavored by a university. Like Austin is flavored by the University of Texas.
Yeah.
It's why Austin is progressive. Austin is, for people that don't know outside of Texas, Austin is one of the most progressive cities. Like if you look at, we voted in Austin, the city of Austin voted more for Kamala Harris than the city of Los Angeles did.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, higher percentage of Democrats voted for Kamala Harris than even Los Angeles.
Well, I think it seems like a lot of Democrats, I don't know like a ton about politics, but it seems like a lot of Democrats, like, I understand a lot of the voting because it's hopeful voting. It's like wishful thinking.
Well, they're feeding off of narratives. Like you're a good person if you believe this, but the consequences are what they're ignoring. The pretending that the economy's in a great place. That's crazy. Talk to anybody who's broke. Talk to anybody who's struggling to pay for bills and groceries. Talk to anybody who's trying to buy a car. The economy's bananas right now. It's sketchy, very sketchy, and a lot of it is
people are robbing each other on Facebook Marketplace.
A lot of it is recovering from COVID, I'm sure. There's probably a lot of blowback from that. I mean, they shut the whole fucking country down, which is just so nuts.
That was insane, man. I think that's one of the but yeah, people are robbing each other on Facebook Marketplace. My buddy was going to buy a couple walkie-talkies off a guy, right? Gets fucking mugged, right?
Really?
Yeah, he's going to buy a couple of
So he meets the guy to go get the walkie-talkies, and the guy mugs him?
And it's like the seventh story I've heard, but it's like, people are doing crime, people are resorting to crime. And that's when it's not good, I feel like,
Well, not just that.
when people
One
are
of the
resorting to
things
crime.
This administration did that I think is terrible, and this is a progressive liberal thing, is that you have these DAs, these George Soros-funded DAs that just let people out for violent crime and get the no cash bail thing. And when there's no repercussions for crime, guess what? Crime goes way the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, if I'm a criminal and they're like, hey, it's crime time or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking put on my cleats or whatever. I'm going to get out there.
You're gonna go to jail and you're just gonna get released.
Yeah. It's like catch and release. It's almost like the
Man.
fishing rules or whatever.
Like if you go trout fishing.
Not like me.
I mean, a little bit.
You're a fly fisherman. You used to be a cop, now you're a fly fisherman with
You just have a
barbless
pair of
hooks.
Nikes on the hook. Yeah, you just put them out there.
Yeah, those fishermen, they use barbless hooks, and then they let the fish go.
I went fly
Okay.
fishing recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, you know what I did? I thought it was like, let me think about what I thought it was like.
It's the more sophisticated way to go fishing.
Yes, it was like, excuse me, fish.
Yes. Gentle cast.
Yes. It was like, hey.
It also requires a lot more skill,
Well, it requires more patience.
for sure.
You can't like if you have a kid or whatever, you can't do it. Like you,
Right.
like if you're just fishing on the bank, you can have your kid and you can be sitting there smoking or whatever your kid likes to do, But if you're in that, you have to constantly be moving it,
Right.
It's very kind of like it's kind of homoerotic almost. It's like, hey, fish or whatever.
Oh, it's
yeah.
flailing.
It's like, hey,
gentle.
fish.
Think so?
Yeah, dude, you ever seen those guys? It's like, hey, fish, I'm over here. I'm over here, boy.
Well, the least sophisticated form of fishing is like a bobber with a worm on it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the least. You throw it out there. But that's some of the most fun fishing because that bobber starts moving.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, shit. I think we got one. Oh, shit.
It's like Jaws all of a sudden.
Bro, fishing's so exciting.
Yeah, my grandma used to take us fishing, dude, and she was like a malignant fisherman or whatever, and she would
Degenerate?
Yeah,
What do you
like
mean by
very.
malignant?
She was like a staunch fisherman, like
Staunch.
like we're fishing, you know.
Oh, aggressive.
You better not fucking not fish, you know. She would
Really?
like kind of have that kind of behavior. Yeah, she was
Wow.
very. You better fucking fish, white boy.
Whoa.
You know, she would kind of be like
Aggressive.
that. Yes, very aggressive, right?
About fishing for little kids.
Yeah, and we'd have
Very
to be
strange.
quiet and look straight out and wait for the bobber. But she was really, she loved to fish.
Did she love to eat fish?
Yep, she liked to skin them and grill them and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
What kind
cool.
of fish?
Mostly catfish, bullheads. We used to fish up in like Spoon River up in like Illinois.
Did you guys use like chicken liver for?
Yeah.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. I might not have worked in traditional offices, but I've had many different jobs in my day, and while there are many different types of offices, one thing is for sure. Choosing the right candidate for any office is a huge responsibility. So if you're hiring and you want to find the best candidates, I think you need ZipRecruiter. Right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Rogan. ZipRecruiter will save you so much time and money because they have smart technology that'll show your job to qualified candidates immediately, and their matching technology works fast to find top talent. You can even invite top candidates to apply to encourage them to apply sooner. Remember, if you want to find the right candidates for your office, you need ZipRecruiter. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Just go to this exclusive web address right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Rogan. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Rogan. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We would get out there, we'd have a little thermos full of chicken liver.
chicken
You know,
liver works, man.
my grandfather would say anything and she'd fucking look at him and he wouldn't talk for a month after that.
She was the fisherman.
She was.
The fisher woman.
Yeah, she loved to fish. I think she liked catching her own meals. Even, you know, she didn't like to hunt, but she liked to fish.
What's that fucking dude's name? The chubby dude that dressed up like the devil and everybody got mad. He's a singer. Sam. What's that? Sam Smith. Yeah. He said he wanted to be a fisher them.
Oh, God.
Not a fisherman, a fisher her, a fisher she. A fisher them.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, the they them thing. That's the best evidence you need that people are out of their fucking minds. You can't be plural, you fucking idiot.
Well,
Stop.
the only thing I think it's like, it's almost, if you're being plural, you're, I don't understand it. Like, if you're being plural, are you being, like, there's more of me, kind of? Like, that's what I don't understand. Is it like an ego trip? Like, that's, you know, like, that's what I don't understand about the...
It's just a way to be unique, and it's a way to be in a marginalized community if you're just a regular person.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're a regular white person, you're at the lower end of the social hierarchy amongst woke people. But if you're queer or non-binary, now you're in a protected group.
My
Now you're
buddy's
in.
queer, actually.
Nice. What does he have to do to be queer?
Nothing. He's cool. He doesn't, he didn't, like, send you an email update or whatever. He's just,
Did he update his Twitter pronouns?
no, he's just like a...
Just decides he's queer.
Yeah, he's like a secret. Not secret, he's like... I don't know, he's just like a... Or, I don't even know what they call it. I gotta look at the chart or whatever.
What is queer these days? Because when I was a kid, queer was gay. If someone was queer, they're gay. Or if you got punched in the head, then you're on Queer Street. It was like everything was confusing. Queer was confusing,
Okay.
and then queer became gay somewhere along the line. But now I think queer is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You could be gay, bi, straight, and then you could be pansexual.
And
Which
what
is-
is that?
Exactly. That's what Wayne Brady is.
He's pansexual?
He came out. He came out as pansexual. I don't know what that is.
I can barely handle whatever I am, dude. To be real honest, bro.
It's also new.
Whatever I am, bro, it keeps jerking off at night and being afraid to talk to women. So, whatever that one is, that's what I am, bro.
You're theosexual.
Oh, it's fucking getting kind of heady, man.
You're theosexual. Why are you afraid to talk to the women?
No, I don't know. You know, I think I get afraid to like. I always got afraid to approach women. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
But why? You're a handsome fella. You're funny. You're successful.
I don't know. I think something. I just
Childhood shit.
yeah, probably. There's something like like I would just be so fucking nervous, buddy. You know, when I was a kid, I would be so nervous. I would be so nervous.
Which is interesting that you got into stand-up comedy, which makes people really fucking nervous.
Well, I think I was familiar with being nervous, so that didn't affect me.
Oh, interesting. Because you're nervous all the time. You're like, fuck it, I'll just go be nervous in front of all these people.
Oh, the audience is when you're on stage, the audience is just a woman.
Oh, like you're just trying to get them to like you.
You're just trying to you're like, how do we get this to work out, you know?
How do I get you to like me more? Who do I have to be?
Dude, the other night was crazy. Sorry, I cut you off. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I got nothing, man.
No, the other night was crazy.
This week's been crazy. It's just been a crazy week,
Yeah.
you know? It's been a crazy week, man.
It was interesting because the beginning of the night, no one knew what was going to happen. So you're watching the first results roll in, and there's like this weird thing. And then Trump gets way ahead, but you're like, you don't want to like get too hopeful. Like, how far ahead is he? He's ahead by 100 points. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, and you're like, what is it? And some channels are like, and then every channel's kind of different.
Yeah. They had different numbers. I was getting a different number off my Apple News update than I was getting off of CNN. And then I was texting people like Tulsi and J.D. Vance. I was getting a different Apparently, Elon created an app, and he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So as the results were coming in, 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me, Elon was like, I'm leaving. It's over. Donald won. He just fucking somehow or another.
I'm gonna go back into my pod and evaporate.
I don't know what he's getting, where he's pulling his data from, but he had like the most accurate data in terms of the rural states hadn't put their results in yet, but yet Trump was ahead in these states. Kamala's never gonna win those states, so tabulated that and like put it all together. I don't know how he did it. But
yeah.
Dana, I haven't even talked to Elon about this. I don't know, like, the Dana translation. But Dana said he had an app, and he was, like, showing him. He's like, it's over. And he fucking left. Dude just left.
It's over. John Jones won. Just saying that.
He just fucking left.
Dude, yeah, I mean, the whole thing's crazy to me. I'm so happy for, my biggest thing was I was so happy for Bobby Kennedy, man.
Yeah.
Because he's the only person that I super know, like, as a human, you know? He's been a buddy of mine for years, and I've just known that he's I trust him. Like, it's almost like you have people that you know and that are good people. It's like,
yeah,
I have to trust my own instincts at some point and know, I know him.
Right.
You know, he's somebody I would vouch for.
Right.
You know, he's a good guy, and he's been helpful to me, like in moments where I have struggled as a person, and just been inspirational to me. You know, it's like I know him, you know, like a friend. And so that's, I think, like, that was something I was like super excited about, just to see where everybody was like, screw this guy, you know, and to see him have a arc where it's like, because all he ever cared about, to me, and I don't know, this is just my opinions, dude. Some people, everybody has their own opinions, and I'm an idiot, but he always cared about, like, the rivers and the environment, you know, and then he started to care about the environment inside of our bodies, right? So for me, that all makes sense, right? And so, like,
well, you know where it all happened from, right?
I was super, like, that was I was super excited about.
Do you know how he made the transition to being worried about pharmaceutical drugs? He would give these speeches, and he litigated a bunch of lawsuits against corporations that were polluting rivers. They cleaned up the East River. Like, he was an environmental attorney, and they were also talking about the effects of mercury poisoning in the soil and water. And these women kept coming to these things that he was doing and saying, you need to investigate mercury in vaccines. And, you know, he thought, like, that is, like, which most people think. You hear vaccine, like, the last thing I want to be labeled is a vaccine skeptic. Jesus Christ. A vaccine denier. That's like I mean, we talked about this yesterday, but it's like Holocaust denier is number one, but vaccine denier and election denier are like right under there.
Yeah.
And he started looking into it, particularly the MMR vaccines and the correlation between the uptick of all these autoimmune issues, autism spectrum disorders, all these different things that coincided directly with the increase in the vaccine schedule for kids. And so then he starts doing research on it. And the more he does research on it, the more it gets uncovered that there's this gigantic machine that's protecting all of this because there's so much money that's being generated, and most of it has to do with during the Reagan administration, they gave them immunity to prosecution, so they were no longer liable for whatever side effects the vaccines caused.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and then, of course, these motherfuckers started giving little kids, little babies that were just born, Hep B vaccines. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's you get that from needles and sex.
Yeah,
this is
unless
fucking
it's Pam
baby.
Anderson's baby, dude. I wouldn't put anything in that kid, you know? And no, I don't even know if she has any kids or not. And I love Tommy Lee, so I don't know.
Well, you fucked up.
Already done, dude.
It's a joke. What are you going to do? It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, sorry, everything's okay.
I feel the same way about Bobby. I don't know him as well as I know Tulsi, though. Tulsi is...
Yeah, I don't know her.
Tulsi's a good friend of mine. I love her. She's great. She's an awesome person. She's like a legitimate awesome person. You know, that lady, she served as a congresswoman for 8 years, and the whole time she was against this divide of right versus left. She was always trying to be cool with everybody. She served overseas. She was deployed overseas in a medical unit, man. So she was helping people that got blown up by the war twice. That's where she got that crazy white streak in her hair.
Really?
That all came from the stress of being overseas, working in a medical unit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, can stress be that compartmentalized inside of you and it comes out like that?
Oh, your body, you can't imagine. You know, I was just talking to my friend Bruce about this last night. He was a cop in Austin. We were talking about the amount of death that most police officers see and the stress that has on you. And what he was telling me is you take like a cop that has like 20 years in the job, what they see is probably 10x what the average soldier who's deployed sees. Because you're seeing murder all the time. You're seeing car accidents all the time, suicide all the time, domestic violence all the time. You're pulling people over. You never know if you're going to get shot. He goes, most of these guys are fucked up because they're just constantly seeing this stuff. Constantly.
Oh, yeah. I'd be at home. I'd hear somebody open a jar of Pringles and I'd fucking pull on them, you know? Yeah. You
hear that top pop?
Yeah. What's going on? Dude, we had a police officer on a few years ago, or about a year ago. Can you look this up, Jamie? Is it okay to ask Jamie to look something up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's a police officer.
Yeah. How long ago?
Yes. This guy, retired police officer, Sergeant Brad White. This guy was super unique. He lived in Los Angeles, but he told this story. He was he didn't have any political thoughts. He just told stories of what it was like being a police officer, and he told the story of his first day on the job. They're chasing a guy. The guy runs into traffic, gets hit by a vehicle, and killed, right? So even as just a human being, like, you're just doing a job, but then you're like trying to compartmentalize or how do, you know, what effect did I have on this? What are my, you know, like, he told this story of a mother had called and said that her son was thinking about committing suicide, right? The mother meets him in the yard. He shows up. He's a police officer. It's in outside of Los Angeles, I think in Whittier Police Department. I could be wrong. He shows up. The mom meets him outside. They see the son comes into the doorway, right? It's like a glass door with another door behind it, kind of. Takes his own life, right? Kills himself right in front of them. So now he's standing there with the mom.
Oh my God.
Now he has to console the mother, then go inside of the home. He walks inside. The door won't open because the man's body is there, right? He's having trouble getting it open. Even just that moment. He gets it open. Something falls off of the ceiling down the back of his shirt. And it's part of the guy, his brain matter. He had shot himself on the ceiling. So I know that's graphic and stuff. And then for the next 3 or 4 hours, he has to take care of this scene with this little feeling between his bat wings, what is that?
Bulletproof vest.
No, inside of your body,
Oh, yeah,
shoulder blades. Yeah,
And it's brain matter.
yeah. And it's just like, that's just a regular guy. You know, he might not even have finished college or something. You know, it's like, so just the baffling amount of stuff that police go through. Anyway, I was trying to just like, those are stories that stuck with me when I spoke with that guy. It was like unbelievable.
It's just conveniently ignored by most people who will never be police officers. And then that was one of the more offensive things about the George Floyd thing, all this defund the police shit, where people rose up and were saying, defund the police, and I mean defund the police. And Kamala Harris was one of them. She was out there tweeting, defund the police. And because of that, crime just ramped up in certain communities, and so many people wanted the police back, but it's a long process to try to, and to this day, most of these cops don't have good morale. They still have this feeling of defund the police was just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's hard to get people to be cops now. They don't want that fucking job, and why would they? It's a fucking hard job.
Yeah, and they don't even. I think the highlight, like they used to play like softball in our area against like the fire department. That was like the highlight of it. You know, it was like having like competition. You know, but I don't even like if you defund them, they're not even super funded. You don't ever see a cop with like a boat. Or you know what I'm saying? Like you don't
a baller cop.
Yeah, you don't see a fucking
Right. If you think about how hard that job is, like hard jobs should pay more. Right?
Yeah, dude.
You know? Like what is I think if you paid them too much though, then they just quit. Like I got enough. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know, it'd be tough.
Because like what's harder, being a rapper or being a cop? It's fucking way harder being a cop.
Oh yeah, I think
But rappers get paid way more.
That's true. Cops just, I think a lot of cops will start making albums from their cars. You know? But there really should be there should be a great producer that goes on a ride along with a police officer. This is going to happen, watch. And makes a dope track with a cop.
Right.
And you could make a dope and you'd have so much great visuals.
Right.
And the proceeds go towards supporting the police department.
Yeah, like the cop could like be saying shit from behind the wheel, and you can sample that.
Yeah.
Sample that and turn them into songs.
We got them. In pursuit.
Different codes, 5150. Isn't that when someone's crazy?
Oh, yeah. That's crazy right there. That's 50. I think 44.
Look at is this cop rap? What is this? Grammy-nominated rapper, Sacramento police officer records new deployment recruitment video.
Pull him up, man.
No.
I looked. I just figured there could have already been one.
What's that,
What do you have
5150?
to do to be a Grammy nominated? Grammy nominated doesn't impress me. Like Grammy winning, that impressed me. Grammy nominated,
Dude, my Grammy
who
will
nominated you?
Yeah. My Grammy will nominate anybody. She liked Traveling Wilburys.
You didn't.
I didn't. I mean, if my grandfather showed up and said, hey, they're good, I respect that a little bit more, but that's just me, you know. Lainey Wilson, I love. She's great. Red Clay Strays, Stephen Wilson
great.
Jr.
Red Clay Strays are great.
They're good, huh?
Yeah, there's good music out now. It's a good time for music because like you could find things so easily. You know, you don't have to wait for the radio. You just find stuff. People send you stuff like in the green room all the time. Someone will play something. I go, what is this? And I'll Shazam it. Like, oh shit, it's nice. That Shazam thing, that feature is so huge.
Yeah.
You know, on Google Pixel phones, there's an option to just have it on all the time. So anytime a song is playing, you can look down on your phone and it'll tell you what song's playing.
I didn't know it.
Do they still do that? I think that's still a feature. I think it's only on the Google Pixel.
What was I thinking about? I feel all over the place today, Joe. You ever feel like that?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well, I
you
haven't
open
been
your life?
sleeping. I haven't been
Yeah, I didn't
sleeping.
sleep well.
2 days in a row, I didn't sleep. The night of the election, I could not sleep. I got home, I was wired.
Did
I
you jerk off or not that night?
No, I just sat in front of the TV. I was watching professional pool, sitting in front of the TV. I called Dave Smith. Me and Dave Smith talked on the phone at like 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. And then I finally went to bed, and my wife woke up. She was like, "What happened? Who won?" And I was like, "Trump won in a landslide."
You're like the Spurs.
And then she was up. I'm like, it was a landslide. Like, it was a crazy landslide. It was the red wave that everybody thought was going to happen in 2022. Hey, Jamie, I'm hearing more and more about what we talked about yesterday, about the amount of people that voted for Biden in 2020 versus the amount of people that voted for anybody in 2016 and for anybody in 2024, that they're still saying it was a giant jump.
That's what I see too.
A lot of people think it's bullshit.
Could be.
There's a lot of people that are getting super suspicious about the 2020 numbers because Biden got more votes than anybody by like 20 million. It's really crazy if you look at the chart.
Well, did they say that the most people they'd ever seen at voting stations were this year?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know what the visual report is for this year, but then
This is the most consequential election I think I've ever felt.
for sure.
For sure. The way people felt about it, too, the people on the left thought they were convinced that Hitler was coming. They're convinced that some right-wing authoritarian is going to come down and take away all your rights. And
Well, that's the media does that.
100%.
But
100%. Not what he was saying, not what he did for 4 years in office. It's all the media. And we're all victim of it a little bit. Because you won't defend him or support him if you hear all these things about him, because then you got to defend the fact that, no, he didn't really do that. He's not really a felon. There were only misdemeanors. Texas voter turnout falls in 2024 election despite record registration numbers. This is just Texas, right? 61% cast ballots, near 6% drop from the 2020 presidential race. But the difference in the numbers nationwide is what I'm interested in, because the nationwide numbers they're pretty consistent, like through the entire. Like if you look at 2012, it's consistent with 2016, which is also consistent with 2024. The anomaly is 2020.
Yeah.
In 2020, everything goes way up. Way up.
Maybe because people were sitting at home and so bored and they said they didn't have much to do, you think?
Could be, because it was during COVID. Could be a lot of people weren't working, so they did have the opportunity to vote. The voting should be a national holiday.
I agree. I don't understand.
It's crazy that you give some people a complication. Like, imagine if you have a shithead boss. Like, I gotta vote. Why did you vote early? Because I was working for you, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Let me go. Let me go vote.
Yeah, I mean, they give Christopher Columbus as a
fuck
holiday,
that
dude.
guy.
The Lieutenant Dan of the 1400s. That dude gets a fucking holiday, okay?
Yeah, why don't you go
But
read
you don't get a
what that
day
guy
off.
did? Let's get rid of Christopher Columbus. They changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day. Like, and the Indigenous people are like, thanks, after you wiped out 90% of us.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us a day. How about we keep that day? That's fine. But how about we have an election, national election holiday? We could do with
Yeah.
one more holiday.
Celebrate it. It's a great day. People can rejoice. And then I
Cookouts.
think, yep, it would take a lot of stress off people, too. It's like today's also a day of celebration. It's not this day that I have to sneak away from work and be sneaky or whatever.
You should have
and
a paid,
eat in my car.
It should be a paid holiday.
Yeah.
You should expect to have to pay your employees on the day that election comes, because everybody should be able to go vote.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. We should make it. We'll talk to Trump about it. Making a nationally mandated holiday.
I don't have his number. I don't know if you, I mean, I there's a guy in his department I have his number.
We could hook it up. I know some people.
Yeah, dude, it was just what a crazy week.
Yeah, very crazy. Well, you were one of the first guys to have him on the podcast. Did you have any hesitancy to having him on at all?
My brother's a lot smarter than me, and he said, "Hey, man, I just want you to think that there could be some reflection from people if you have him on, right? Like some people could be upset about it,
Right.
you know?" And I thought about that a little bit, and I was like, well, I don't really, I don't know, you know, like, I have political thoughts and beliefs and stuff like that, and it's like it's hard to find a group that really embodies them. And if anything, right now for me, it seems like I don't even feel like these new parties are the same as the old parties.
They're not.
It doesn't seem like this isn't Democrats and Republicans. There's something else transmorphing right now.
Yeah.
And so I thought, like, I thought, well, I just want to be able to have a chance to talk to this guy, you know? And the main thing for me was like you talked about Dana White earlier. He's really, you know, I know that you guys work together, and he, you know, I knew that Trump's brother suffered from addiction, right? I knew that, right? I heard that or something, and I looked into it. It was like, okay, he lost his brother. His brother died of addiction. So I was like, well, that's interesting to me, you know? And I wish that I wonder if there's more to Donald Trump. Like, is there more of a way to talk with him about something that means, you know, try to get an emotional more of an emotional well to him than it seems like that's in the public.
Well, there was a thing that was going on for a while where you were platforming people. This was the idea. Like, if you had on a guy like Trump, you were platforming this bad person. This was this thing.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at all.
But it's an authoritarian way to regulate conversations that let you know more about people, and it's stupid because people don't want to have a nuanced perspective on anybody. Look, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Kamala Harris. I'm like, I bet there's a person in there. I bet I can get to that person.
Yeah.
I wanted to find that person. I don't want to hear all the speeches. I don't want to hear. I was raised middle class. I don't want to hear any of that shit.
She's a roller skater. You know that?
No, I would love to find that out.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to her about all kinds of shit. I literally said, like, because there was a few restrictions of things they didn't want to talk about, but I said, I don't give a fuck. I go, get her in here. Like, whatever you want to talk about. And they want to know if I edit. I'm like, there's not going to be any editing. There's no editing.
Yeah.
We're not going to edit. But
yeah, that's the same thing they asked us. Is there an edit, you know?
I just wanted to talk. I feel like you give someone a couple of hours and you start talking about anything. I'm going to see the pattern of the way you think. I'm going to see the way you process ideas. I'm going to see whether or not you're calculated or whether you're just free.
Yeah.
Or are you comfortable with you, or are you projecting things? Like, she's got 80 different accents. How do you decide which one to pull out?
Yeah.
Like, she's got,
Yeah.
she busts out different accents depending on who she's talking to.
Yeah.
They should have
I
made
do
her
that
talk
too,
to a
though.
bunch of Chinese folks. I would have loved to hear that accent. I want to see what,
I do that too, though. I like to meet people where they're at.
Sure.
You know? Oh, if I see somebody that's, you know, I'll be like, what's happening, my friend? You know? It's like, I like to meet people where they are, you know?
Yeah, she did one with the Latinos where she talked with a Latino accent. I'm like, this is wild. But she's a chameleon. But if you want to be
Yeah.
a successful politician, that's probably a good trait.
I agree.
You know? It's like a comedian that's always on. They kind of get annoying. But if you want to be a comedian, that's probably a good trait. You want to be a politician, you should probably be able to melt into your environment and sort of meld yourself with whatever these people want you to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe it's just like I always feel like the environment of debates, the environment of interviews on television, the environment of anything you're doing in front of an audience, it's so fake. It's such a weird way to talk that you don't get a sense of who the person is. So, like, when I got to see Trump on your podcast and you were talking about doing cocaine, then it makes you like an owl.
Oh, God.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious, but it was like, you got a chance to see that guy as a person trying to figure out, like, who is this psycho I'm sitting here talking to?
I remember that shit. I'll fucking make a nest in my living room, dude. That shit, boy. You fucking, I'll scoot over to the neighbors and steal some twine in my beak, homie. I fucking, there's nothing worse than being locked out of your place on cocaine, man.
I can only imagine. But you talking to him like as a person is like almost more valuable than any other kind of speeches he does. Because when he's in front of everybody talking about we're going to make America amazing, those are great speeches. But you don't, like, she had an amazing speech. When I was like she could win was when she had that one speech about Donald Trump, like scared to debate her, but he says all these things. But you know what I always heard? If you want to say something, say it to my face. And the whole place went crazy. And she was laughing.
I didn't see
timing-
that.
Oh, it was so good. It was her best speech for sure. And it was right when they decided that she was going to run for president.
Maybe that is what,
So it was
what got people involved.
Biden stepped down, and she had one banger of a speech. She looked young and energetic, and like it really made you feel like
she's
this
cute.
is going
She's
to
kinda
be a.
cute.
She was hot.
Yeah,
She
got
was
that-
younger. She was a smoke show.
She's still all right. She got that thing on her, I bet.
So that
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you were saying. That's why it's so crazy.
Because a lot of brothers love her too.
Everybody seems to love her.
Look, if the brothers like it, she got that thing on her. That's all I'm saying. You know?
I understand what you're saying. But like that one speech was almost enough for her to win. And if she just didn't talk other than speeches, but they would have done. They needed to do a better job with the speeches because every speech was the same. And the problem with that is we were talking about this, like the internet. You get to see that speech over and over again online, like, and then people make compilations of the speech. And it looks,
Right, and then the same thing.
but it's like if someone goes to see your act. You know, they don't understand, like, acts, like, to develop a bit, it takes months and months and months to really, like, put it together where it's, like, rock solid.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it the same way or slightly different every night. And if someone comes to see you and goes, Theo's so full of shit, man. He told us the other day that it was just the other day.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he said it 3 weeks later. It wasn't just the other day. It was 3 fucking weeks ago, dude. You're repeating the same shit.
Yeah,
So that's what they
you got
feel
too
about-
many leap years, white boy. Yeah, shit like that.
Exactly. So that's what they feel about like a presidential candidate that's telling the same speech over and over. Well, hey, you're not supposed to go see all those speeches.
But yeah.
You know? Yeah. But the thing is
Yeah,
about
you're
Trump.
not following the Grateful Dead here. You know,
Trump
it's like, but
rambles.
Trump has a lot though. Trump has a lot that are repetitive.
He does, but not in the same order. It's like going to see a Grateful Dead show. It's like fucking, it's all over the place. You know, when Trump gets out there, he just starts talking. Did you see? He accepted. He had this long-winded speech about the rocket.
That was
about
insane,
Elon caught
dude.
the rocket.
I'm
Yo,
like, you just won the presidency.
edit,
Yeah.
edit that down. You can edit that down. That could be 2 minutes.
Beautiful
I
arms.
was worried about that in the very beginning of the podcast before we got cooking. When he was talking to me about Lincoln's bedroom, I was like, oh boy, like where is this going? Like,
I've been in Lincoln's bedroom.
How was it?
It was okay. I think you can bring it up. Actually, it's in Springfield,
They give you-
Illinois.
Oh, it is? No, he was talking about the one that's in the White House.
Oh no, I've been to just his child before he got
You can
elected.
go to his childhood home. Oh, wow.
It's really interesting. He used to keep his notes in his hat.
Oh, that was a good move.
Pretty cool.
Big ass hats back then.
That head wallet, baby. He had
That's
that
a
bitch
good
on him.
move. That's
yeah.
a good move. It's like
Especially
credit cards behind your phone, that kind of thing. Except if you lose your phone, you lose everything.
But you ain't losing that big ass hat. That hat was fucking long, dude.
Isn't it crazy, man? You ever see like how many dudes wore like fancy hats back in the day? That shit just went away.
It did.
Imagine if you were a kid and you're growing up in a hat family. You're like, well, our family makes hats, bro. I'm balling forever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take over this business, and then no hats. If you watch, there's a great outside boxing match in Reno, Nevada, between Jack Johnson and I think it's Jim Jeffries. And I think this is
Jim Jeffries?
yes, not that guy. Another one,
It's not the.
not the comedian.
No, I'm talking about the murderer.
No, maybe. I don't think so. I think it's just a boxer.
Who was it?
James Jeffries. So see if Jack Johnson versus this is it.
Who
So,
killed the people with that
here's the
Kool-Aid or
thing,
whatever?
like, when there's a video of all these folks that are walking like to the event, and every man has a fucking hat on, dude.
Wow.
They all have hats. Look, they all have fancy hats. Look at all these guys. They're taking off their hats, waving their hats. Men left the house with a fucking hat on. Look at this. Wow. Dude, they all have these fancy hats.
What happened?
They're all dressed up nice with fancy hats. First of all, good luck seeing anything outside the Republican National Convention with that many people on the streets dressed up in suits. That's it. It's the only time you're ever going to see this. These are like regular men walking on the streets. Everybody had fancy hats on and a nice button-up shirt and a suit jacket. That's Jim Jeffries right there.
Oh, those guys
That's-
are good, dude. James
That's,
J. Braddock.
that's John L. Sullivan.
No way.
Yeah.
The guy from that's the guy from Monopoly too, right there.
He was a bare knuckle boxer back in the Dizzy. So, and he was still famous back then.
Wow, look at him putting it all together. That's so cool.
Isn't that cool? So they built this outdoor stadium to watch Jack Johnson beat the fuck out of Jim Jeffries.
Oh,
That's how it goes. Jim Jeffries was trying to make a comeback. He was a little bit older. Back then, bro, boxing would go until someone died.
yeah.
They would have, I mean, what's the most rounds they had back then? They were crazy. It was like 80 rounds or something. Like, what's the longest old school boxing match ever, Jamie? I think they had some insane amount of rounds.
That's a good question.
Look at this. The greatest number of rounds was 276 in a 4-hour and 30-minute fight when Jack Jones beat Patsy Tunney in Cheshire in 1825. Holy fuck, dude. And were introduced in 1867. Each round of a fight would last until someone was knocked down.
Oh my god! Wow.
Bro, 276 rounds is so crazy.
Oh.
That's when you get all your CTE in an IV bag.
Yeah.
You just get, you have to.
That's
you have
the
to
Brennan Shaw
swallow
gauntlet right
vitamins.
there, dude.
You just get your CTE just hot pumped into your fucking
Yeah.
brain.
Modern.
I'm just
boxing
joking,
would be
Brendan.
110, I guess.
Oh my God!
At New Orleans, that's where it was.
In he lived to 94. He lived to 1867, 95. Oh, these are when they died. Oh, because 1893, it lasted 110 rounds. Oh
Wow.
my God. 7 hours and 19 minutes. It was declared a no contest, later changed to a draw.
Dude, most people couldn't go that long without even looking at their phone, dude. Much less
7
much
hours.
less having to fend
How
off a
about
guy.
having to take a shit? You're in the middle of a 200-round fight. You have to take a shit.
They should have a diaper round. We have to fight and shit at the same time.
I would bet it affect your punching power if you just waddle around
Of
and shit.
course, dude.
Your
I
own
don't think there's
shit.
a way you can shit and punch at the same time.
It's
Can
very
they?
hard. Very
Look that
hard.
up.
Very hard.
Because yeah, think about it.
Yeah. No.
It'd be so
you need
soft.
to tighten all that up if
Yeah.
you're going to throw a good punch. Like your ass cheeks tighten because you kind of use your legs as you thrust forward. You really can't shit and punch not effectively. You're gonna
Yeah,
lose
we
that
cracked
round.
the code, bro.
Yeah, we cracked the code. You're gonna lose that round. So I guess they probably just pissed themselves. I know guys who've shit themselves in the UFC. Multiple guys. Yeah.
Oh, it breaks my
I
heart.
believe Tim Sylvia shit himself in a fight once. Who else? Someone came out there. Michael Chiesa looked over at me once while I was doing commentary. And I think he got called, and it was perhaps one of those situations where the fight before ended quicker, so he didn't get as much warm-up time as he wanted.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's running out there, and he looked at me, he goes, "Dude, I'm about to shit my pants." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm about to shit my pants." And he won. He went out there and won first-round submission.
Because he had to.
Because he had to.
Yeah, dude. There's another.
So is this the fight? Oh, is this another guy who shit his pants? 5 fighters
in the fight.
who pooped their shorts. Yeah, it happens, dude. This guy shit himself a little bit.
Dude, I would shit myself if I had to go in there. So that's crazy.
Tim Sylvia definitely shit himself. Randleman shit himself?
Yeah.
It happens, man. Look, you're getting
Oh,
your
I'm not. Yeah.
liver pounded on. You're getting kneed in the
They don't even
guts.
have the one that
Oh, I got in a car accident once, and it happened.
You shit yourself?
I didn't want to. I didn't have a choice. It just happened. It wanted to.
She shit her pants too. Justine Kitch, congratulations. I bet dudes would pay a
Call
lot of
time
money
out.
for that. That on OnlyFans. You can sell them shitty drawers.
And that's Mark Goddard right there. Call time out, brother.
He just stepped
No.
in it.
Oh,
that's
is that
Keith.
what it is? That's the poop? Oh, no. Imagine if you're, like, face down, if someone's putting you in a rear naked choke, and they didn't clean the mats that good, and the person before shit all over the place. You get pink eye while you're getting your ass kicked.
God, that makes me scared.
Yeah, that's a scary job. That's the scariest job. You think,
Yeah, I went to that fight with you. Or no, I went to that fight. Remember me and Joey Diaz went
which one?
in New York. Oh, it was. Oh, I was thinking of your fighters. Well, I went and saw the James J. Braddock statue before. It was in New
really?
Jersey. Before Dustin and that last fight that he had. No, the one before the last fight.
Justin Gaethje? That was in...
No, after that. It was in New Jersey.
Okay.
The
That
Pride
was...
of
Yeah. Benoit Saint-Denis. Yeah.
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 No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, he beat up Benoit Saint-Denis and knocked him out.
Islam Makhachev.
That was after
He
that.
lost to Islam.
That was in
but
Jersey.
Oh,
right.
which one was in Jersey? Islam?
He didn't beat Islam in Jersey.
Right. So he fought Benoit Saint-Denis, then he gets a title shot against
Yeah.
Islam.
Yeah, I went with Joey. And I went to the James J. Braddock statue before. It was awesome, dude.
Islam's a monster. He's so good.
Yeah, it was crazy. And Joey was like, "What do I?" Dude, he was so. This is all love, dude. He's a fucking tremendous. He's one of a kind, and his book is great too. If you haven't read his book, but he's sitting there. He'd been eating mushrooms, you know. And once he even started eating a little, you could see Aaron Rodgers start to look over. You know, he was getting curious. You know, he's like, what was happening? You know,
That's hilarious.
But by the sixth quarter or whatever, I don't know how the fights go, but it's like by the sixth quarter, he's just rubbing on his thighs, right? He's talking. He goes, "Who's winning, dog?" That's what he kept saying.
Oh, I can't wait to see him again.
Joey used to shovel snow for James J. Braddock. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's one of my favorite things that I ever learned about him.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine that?
That is crazy.
What else is going on?
I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks. He's coming out here. Joey is going to start staying out here for a month at a time. Yeah, he wants to get a place downtown near the club.
Me too. I'm going to come back and look in about a week and a half.
Every time he comes, he's like, I got to come out here, dog. I'm like, come on, we'll make it easy for you. I'm like, we'll make it easy for you. You tell me when you want to come, you come, we'll fly you out, put you up, whatever you want. I'll get you a real estate lady. Let's get the party started. And I'm trying to bring back the Church of What's Happening Now. Because him and Lee Syatt, they were together when they were at the club together. And I'm like, come on, let's get the band back together. You guys together were fucking amazing.
There was nothing like that. Show kept people alive.
That show, Joey Diaz's show, was one of the most ridiculous, silly, preposterous shows. It was so ridiculous. And then he went to New Jersey, and here's the problem with Joey in New Jersey. He loves New Jersey. He loves New Jersey people. He needs comedians. And you forget that until you're not with them. And then you're like, oh, this ain't no fun.
You're just talking to plumbers or whoever's got a decent attitude or whatever, you know, decent sense
That's
of humor.
nice. I like talking to all kinds of people,
Yeah.
obviously. But I need comedians in my life, like I need vitamins. Like I need a certain amount of sunlight to get some vitamin D. I need comedians. It's too, like that night that we had in that green room watching the elections, how many jokes were cracked? How many fucking times we rag on Tony?
Oh, dude.
We talked Tony off the ledge.
We did it. Tony's just fucking...
Tony's like got statistics. 26% more Puerto Ricans voted for Trump.
Bro, he had the Puerto Rican app open on his Whoop bracelet. I'm like, they have that? What is that?
Bro, the whole thing.
He was like, how many plantains have sold tonight? He was fucking losing his mind.
They tried to label him as a speaker. They said he was a speaker. A speaker? That was at the Trump rally? He said that Puerto Rico was a pile of garbage. These are human beings.
Was that Adam Ray? Who was that?
That's Obama.
Oh, it is?
A speaker? That was at the Trump rally? He was talking about Puerto Rico as a pile of garbage.
Dude, the simple fact that Obama was talking about Tony Hinchcliffe is crazy.
Bro, Obama's doing a Tony Hinchcliffe bit. There's a video of us at the
What
mothership.
is going on?
We played it yesterday, but I want to play it again, Jamie. Play the video. It's on my Instagram of Tony is on stage in the main room. By the way, Tony goes on stage. It's like Richard Pryor just showed up. Yeah. They were going nuts. He murdered. He has 35 minutes on it.
Oh, yeah.
He's on stage. No way!
At the same
At
time?
the same time. Yeah. We're definitely in a simulation.
My God.
So this guy was on Fox talking about Tony on one TV while Tony was on stage on the TV monitor.
That's unbelievable. We did it.
He was so nervous because here's what was going to happen. If he lost, you know, so the way these news organizations work, they have outlines for stories. If Kamala wins, they have outlines for stories if Trump wins. If Trump lost, they were going to blame it on Tony. They had stories where they're going to blame it on that joke, and they were going to say that joke turned the tides and made people realize that Trump organization's filled with Nazis and racists, and they were going to blame Tony, and Tony would have been fucked. Because then the Trump supporters would have thought that too.
Right, so it was like both sides would have disliked Tony.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He would have had to go to Puerto Rico or Costa Rica.
Maybe. Mexico. Mexico and Puerto Ricans don't really...
No, they don't even...
They don't get along that well. In fighting, there's always been a giant rivalry between Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. And a lot of...
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. For sure.
I didn't know that.
Well, you know, There's no prouder group of boxers, I think, in the history of Earth than Mexican boxers. Like, they have Mexican boxers are known for a specific style. Like, if someone says you fight like a Mexican, dude, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Mexicans like Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, fucking Canelo Alvarez, Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, you can go down the line. You know, Morales, fuck, man. There's so many. Manuel Marquez.
Yeah.
So many, man.
Yeah, they got just so many punches in one punch.
Well, there's a culture of boxing there that goes back so far. And it's so, you know, with boxing, it's always people that are poor that want a way out. And one of the best ways out, if you're a poor young man,
Punch your way
if you can
out.
fight, you can make millions. Like Canelo, like Julio Cesar Chavez, like. So it's like the history of people rising through boxing. But there's a similar history in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has a great history of boxing, too.
Really?
But there was always a rivalry between Mexico and Puerto Rico.
I could see that because you're both Latino cultures and you want to be the best, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been to a boxing match or not.
You should go see Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. It might be the last boxing match ever.
I don't know if I want to see it.
Do you want to see it if Mike Tyson wins?
I remember watching Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
And it was like two guys like beating each other up in baby diapers or whatever. It was
Baby
like
diapers.
yeah, bring it up. They were wearing like big diapers or whatever.
No, they were wearing cups. There's a protector that boxers wear that's different than the protector that MMA fighters wear. So the protector that boxers wear is foam that covers like the front of your hips and things too.
Oh, maybe I'm not thinking about it. Maybe I'm thinking about something else then.
To win this one.
But it just
This
they
to
kept
me
hugging.
seemed, this is what I believe. I believe really, truly to my core that they made an agreement where Mike Tyson was only going to hit him to the body full blast. It looked like every time he hit him to the head, he was kind of pulling back.
That's the thing. It just didn't seem like this. Didn't seem like a real fight.
Right. It seemed like a fight to the body, though. Mike was hitting him to the body really hard, and I think he hurt Roy a bunch of times really hard to the body. But, you know, both of these men are 50. Roy, in his day, I maintain to this day, was the greatest boxer I've ever seen.
Wow.
Roy Jones, in his prime, was a freak. Like, I mean a freak, where he wouldn't even throw jabs. He would throw a lead left hook. He would favor that over a jab, but it was as fast as a jab. And people couldn't understand it because
Yeah.
you'd never been in a ring with someone that fast. If you look at Roy Jones' highlight reel of KOs, you ever watch like Roy Jones when he was in his prime? They were executions, son. It was like Mike Tyson in his prime, but a different thing. In fact, in a Nas song, Nas says the new Mike Tyson's Roy Jones.
Wow.
Roy Jones was just executing people. He was so much faster than anybody. His timing was so good. His
He was a
power.
sniper.
Oh my God, he was just so skillful.
Who would you rather knock you unconscious? You think if you had to pick a good fighter?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Roy would just put it out quick, just pop you on the chin, and you'd be
Roy or
okay.
Connor, though?
Both of them will knock you out quick.
You think?
Yeah, but and this is this one fight with Roy Jones with Vinny Pazienza. It was the only fight in CompuBox history where the opponent didn't land a single punch. Wow. A single punch. This was like when Roy was trying to get the referee to stop the fight. Before that, Roy signaled to the referee, stop the fight. And the referee said no, and then Roy goes like this. He's like looking at Vinny, sorry, I got to do this.
I've never even seen
Just lights it up. Bro, he was so good in his prime. But like all fighters, they stay past their prime, and people really only remember them for when they lost.
Yeah.
You know, Roy in his prime was just something completely special.
He had an Allen Iverson vibe.
You went to watch him just to see how long guys would last. That's what you would watch, to see what he would do to guys.
I did a fishing rodeo with him once.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a big fisherman. He dropped his hands, put him behind his back, and knocked the guy out. Like lured the guy in and hit him with one straight right hand and dropped him. It was one of he would just like be
That's
toying
crazy,
with dudes.
dude. I can't even get a fucking medium jacket off of my body, and this guy's doing this shit. That's what blows my mind,
Roy
dude.
was so good. He was so good.
Oh.
And everybody that went
Cooked
in
that
there.
brother right there.
There's a thing that happens when a guy's gonna fight. Like you would see it with Anderson
Who is that,
Silva.
Bill
in his
Cartwright?
prime.
Who's he fighting?
Some dude is in real trouble. They should have stopped this fight already. That dude did not need to take those other two punches. Dude, he was so fast.
Yeah, dude. Tony was Tony was.
He was terrified.
chain
He was terrified. Tony was terrified.
Right when I walked in, I hadn't seen him in months. I'm just fucking grilling him.
Bro.
I'm like, there he is. I'm like, who's an island now? That's what I said to him, dude. He's fucking sitting there.
Who's an island now? Did you really say that to him?
Yeah. And here's the best thing about Tony, though. He laughed. Like, Tony is for the joke, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if he's, like, going through it, he respects the joke. And, like,
Always.
there's many layers to that whole thing. It's like, Tony is who he is.
Yeah.
And you respect that to the core. It wasn't the best timing? Probably not, right?
No.
Was there a lot of supervision over him, is what he said?
No.
Probably not.
But that just shows
that's
you how
also
disorganized that meeting was.
it's disorganized, but it's also real. So it's like there's two ways to look at it. It's like it's like nobody proofread it.
Let me clear something there, because we did say that they went over his material. They didn't. They did not go over his material. They did. Someone suggested he take one joke out. So he took this one joke out, and he's like, oh, what do I put in its place? He decided to go with the Puerto Rico joke. You fucking dumbass. Don't you know?
We did it.
Yeah,
But-
he's just so silly.
But he's the guy.
But he laughs at himself.
Oh, totally. But also
Yeah.
it's weird because it's like, do you want things to be tailored or do you not want them to be tailored? You know?
Yeah.
It's like you could have a group that goes through every single joke and says no to everything,
Right.
And then you get nothing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of, it's like how many layers of like when you drain spaghetti or whatever I'm talking about. Like how many layers of
Spaghetti.
nah shit. I don't know. It's been a long year.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But I think when you get to a certain level of your career, you got to say no to things that are outside of comedy.
Yeah.
If you're just coming up and someone says you want to go speak in front of the president, go out there. Make a mark, soldier. Give it your best. But if you're Tony Hinchcliffe and you just did the Tom Brady roast, Kill Tony's the #1 comedy podcast in the world.
Unreal.
You have millions and millions of downloads every week. Don't do that. Just do comedy. You're really good. That's what I was trying to tell people. If you saw those same jokes on stage, he kills. Fucking crushes. It's just the worst environment ever for it. Lights are bright. It's in the day.
Yeah.
No one knows a comedian. He goes up cold. No one goes on after him. There's like his big ass paws after him. The whole thing was like organized terribly. Terribly. Just
it's-
complete disorganization. It was like there was the Trump speech, which is the big thing. Like, what do we do with all the extra time? Like, let anybody talk. Who wants to talk? This guy owns a fucking sandwich shop. Let him come up there. Yeah, look, it's my friend Giovanni. Like, let anybody in there. They were letting people that were saying wild stuff, too.
Oh, they were letting anybody in there.
And it
dude.
didn't seem like they vetted a lot of the speeches. Some of the speeches were like,
Yeah, they had 40 minutes of ASMR in there. They were fucking letting people do anything.
Dude, whenever you get an organization, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats, you got to kind of like appease everybody. And you got psychos and moderate people. And they're all together under this one banner of this one. Like, have you ever been on a sports team? There's always like one dude on the team that's a fucking psychopath, right?
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, dude, don't cause any fights. Like, leave everybody alone. Let's go. Come on.
We had a brother, he would slash everybody's tires, but then here's the thing, we were giving him a ride home. So it was like, well, now we're off. You know what I'm saying? But that's who he was. You had to respect him. He was a power forward, you know?
Yeah. Well, sometimes they're not making the best decisions.
People
Get hit
don't,
in the head
man.
a lot.
People don't, man.
Especially football players, bro. You get hit in the head a lot, you're gonna make some sketchy ass decisions.
Nick Bosa got brave and shared his political thoughts the other night. You see that?
No, I didn't.
Well, it's just crazy how, like, on mainstream stuff, if you share anything one way, it's okay, but you share something another way, it's not okay.
Right. Like if nobody got angry at people. They made fun of people for supporting Kamala Harris. Like we made fun of Dave Bautista, like because it looked just so silly. Like this performative commercial where it's really important to vote for Kamala.
Dave
and
Bautista.
Tim Walsh.
Is that the
You know, the
Menuda? Is he
wrestler.
Menuda? Oh,
The wrestler, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, big Jack dude. He's trying to get movies, man. He's wearing pearls to like red carpet events. I know what you're doing. You're trying to get those movies. You gotta
For
like show
what, though?
you're an artist. You're sensitive. You're on the right side. Put him in the. He wants to be a lead in a movie. Wants to be a movie star.
Then fucking turn on your camera at a house and make something.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's the right move. What he's doing is the right move. even if he's faking it.
You mean for Hollywood? You mean?
Yeah. Wear the beads, wear pearls. That softens you up a little bit. Lose some weight, lost a bunch of weight. Talk shit about Trump. He's allowed to be like a tough guy talking shit about Trump. Did you ever see that Jimmy Kimmel sketch they did? We called Trump a whiny bitch, and you ever seen it?
Was Jimmy Kimmel called Donald Trump that?
No. Bautista.
Dave Bautista did?
You never saw it? Find it, because it's kind of funny.
Is he the Intercontinental Champion? I haven't watched wrestling in a bit.
He was a big-time wrestler, was a giant dude, like fucking built like a superhero. And then he went and did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, with Chris Pratt.
Yeah. He's a big, giant wrestler, dude.
Yes, now I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but he wants to be a movie star, so he's losing some weight. He's a good actor, too, man. He was good in that, what was that movie, The Glass Onion. Yeah, that was a great movie. He was really good in that.
I'm trying to think of what I've seen
He's just
recently.
if you're a big, giant dude, and you're a big, muscle-bound giant dude, and you want to do like serious roles, like you kind of gotta lose some weight. You know, you kind of gotta like support Kamala Harris. You kind of gotta like wear pearls. You kind of gotta like soften your stance. You know, you gotta kind of like be performative that you're the guy that they would want to pick, because that's like part of the battle. Like here, let me get this.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah.
I thought that was Eddie Bravo, dude.
Trump is some kind of tough guy.
Current score is 1.
He's not.
2.
I mean, look at him. He wears more makeup than Dolly Parton. He whines like a baby. The guy's afraid of birds. Donald Trump had his daddy pay a doctor to say his Will feet hurt so he could dodge the drag. Look at that gut. Like a garbage bag full of buttermilk. He sells imaginary baseball cards pretending to be a cowboy fireman. Guy's barely strong enough to hold an umbrella. I mean,
While
look
he's
how he
working
drinks
out.
water.
And where is this? At Jocko's gym?
I
A
don't know.
little pink chickadee.
That's pretty funny.
He's got jugs. Big ones. Like Dolly Parton. He cheats at golf. He creeps around beauty pageant dressing rooms. You know that little dance he does?
Yeah, he's a
He looks like
pervert,
he's jacking
dude.
off
Who
a
isn't a
giraffes.
pervert?
He's moody. He pouts. He throws tantrums.
No, get those lights off!
He acts like a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. He bends over for Putin. He's cattier on social media than a middle school bean girl. The guy needs help walking downhill. Almost there, Grandma. So this November, let's stop kidding ourselves. Donald Trump is afraid.
I don't watch this kind of stuff.
Look at this, the punches.
Windmills, Merle Street, and being laughed at.
Isn't it past your jail time?
But mostly, he's terrified that real red-blooded American men will find out that he's a weak, tubby toddler.
Mommy, take me home. Mommy, I want to go home.
What's wrong, tough guy? Someone grab you by the...
Wow. That closing line's pretty tough,
That's
dude.
not bad. He called him a
good.
bitch. But it's like, you know what he's doing?
Yeah.
Trying to become a movie star. It's a good move.
But
the
why-
Hollywood liberals 100% love that.
Well, Hollywood's just crazy to me, dude. I just don't understand it. Like, it seems like they hate white men.
Well, some people that work in Hollywood, I'm sure, don't like white men, but that's the thing about woke culture. It's like there's a hierarchy of the injustices that you have faced.
But as a-
white men have, even if it's not you, which is where it gets prejudiced, because if it's not you, white men over history have caused the most grief. They've caused the most trouble. They've been responsible for the most injustices in this country, at least. You know,
Yeah.
slavery. Red line laws.
Other
bringing
people
the
helped with
Chinese.
slavery. Let's don't just pin the tail
100%.
on the
But-
honky donkey. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
but in America, slaves were exclusively owned by white
undeniably.
people.
Right.
In other countries, they're owned by all kinds of people. This is where it gets
See,
weird.
that's what we got to do then.
Well, what people don't understand is there's more slaves today than there have ever been.
Nuh-uh.
There's more slaves today than there were before 1865 when slavery was abolished in America.
You're lying.
Nope, there's more slaves. In Libya, when we took down Libya and the rebels killed Gaddafi on television, did you ever see that?
I didn't know.
It's one of the most terrifying
What channel
videos.
was it on?
C-SPAN. But Libya for a while became like a failed state, and at one point in time there were slave auctions in Libya that you could watch on YouTube.
Okay.
How crazy is that? Like, Google the actual numbers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a real statistic. And this is also one of the things that people are terrified about with this border deal, okay? Because one of the things about the border, it's not as simple as people coming over and they want a better life, of course. But it's also people being exploited. And there's tens of thousands of kids that are missing. Who knows if they've been smuggled into child trafficking. There's who knows how many people have been. Okay, hold on a second. It says estimates range from about 38 to 49.6 million people are slaves today. The number of enslaved people is difficult to determine. Estimates range from 38 to 49 million.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't have any clue.
Well, you have to include people that can't leave, even if they're not like in cages. People that are trapped, right?
Like Gaza people, you mean?
Well, no, I would talk like people that work in coal mines or cobalt mines in the Congo. They're essentially slaves. I mean, they give them the minimal amount of food and water. They work in horrific conditions, and they live in complete abject poverty.
But they're treated better than the people in Gaza, though.
Perhaps.
Down to 30
Well, they're all
seconds.
getting poisoned. They're all getting poisoned pulling that cobalt out of the ground.
Yeah, but still, they're getting
Yeah.
lunch, I bet.
Probably not good lunch, I would imagine. Either way, yeah, you could find other spots that suck worse. But the
Yeah.
point is, like, those people you could kind of consider slaves. And then there's real slavery. You know, this friend of mine was telling me about this place that was built in Jamaica or the Bahamas. I think it was the Bahamas. And they brought in Chinese workers in like this giant ship. And he said they had this patch of land. They put up a fence around the land, and all the Chinese workers lived on that land. And the Chinese workers built this resort there, and they worked nonstop, 24 hours a day. They built the whole thing in 18 months. They would just have shift after shift, and once it was completed, they took all the workers, put them back in the boat, put them right back to China. So, what was that?
Right.
Was that slaves?
That's slavery.
It seems like slaves. Like it seems like unless they paid those people an exorbitant amount of money, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the arrangement was. But
Yeah,
they put a fence around the area. They brought people in a giant ship, and then they put them back in the ship and shipped them back to China. Like if you
Yeah.
have a slave,
Well, look at Firefest. Remember Firefest or whatever?
yeah.
What the fuck was that, dude?
That was a dude trying to make money.
Right, but still, those people got carted over there.
Yeah.
Nothing to eat, nowhere to sleep.
Bro,
Definitely
there's some-
different than slavery, but still, it's like, yeah, it's funny. You think just because things happened a long time ago that it's not slavery today, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that Fire Festival is